What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the new album from the band Hour of Penance, entitled Regicide. This is released on Prosthetic Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Rome, Italy, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very fast, blasphemous, brutal, and technical style of death metal. This has been a band that has become very, very popular and very synonymous when it comes to technical death metal and the Italian death metal scene, and have had a very, very interesting discography throughout the years. Going back to their middle 2000s releases where they had a more traditional, brutal sort of sound, and then moving on into the later 2000s where they become a lot more cleaner when it came to their production stylings and a lot more technical when it comes to the music. Very, very interesting body of work. I mean, I enjoy albums like Pageantry for Martyrs and Paradogma, and of course their 2012 release, Sedition. Looking back, I really, really dig Sedition, but I thought that it could have had a little bit more depth, and I thought it could have run on just a little bit longer. But now, here we are with the 6th full-length under the Hour of Penance banner, entitled Regicide. It's 11 tracks, and it clocks in at around 41 minutes in length, and pretty much, you can tell by listening to this album that there seems to be a little bit of an improvement over the previous album. Basically taking what they had on Sedition and just adding a little bit more nuance to it. Very right off the bat, from the intro to the first couple of opening tracks, I definitely would say this is a major, major step up from Sedition, and I think this pretty much continues on in the same kind of formula that Hour of Penance know how to do. I would consider this your standard meat and potatoes death metal, but with just a little bit of Italian herbs and seasonings. Hour of Penance have a good little formula going on for them, and they know how to make it work. As is the case with any Hour of Penance release, you're going to get a smorgasbord of technicality throughout this entire record. Very well evidented within this album's guitar riffs. I mean, the first couple of opening tracks, Reforging the Crowns and Desecrated Souls, you're going to get some really, really heavy, meaty, and powerful riffs. Very technical, very smooth, very well played. And it's like that throughout the entire record, and you're going to get an overabundance of really technical solos, really in-your-face sort of riffs, and it can be a little overbearing at times, but still, I think it's very, very entertaining what this band does with the guitar work. It makes it interesting, and it definitely makes it worth listening to. Bass tone is very good, very clean in the mix, very well done, very well heard throughout this entire album. It's not too loud. It doesn't feel buried in this album's mix. It definitely stands out on its own. Going back to what this band having a clean production sound, that's something that makes Hour of Penance work just a little well. The clean production may or may not be to everybody's liking, but in Hour of Penance's case, I think it works quite well. I think this band has a knack for making a clean production style work, and with Regicide, I think it sounds really, really good. Moving on to the drums, you can't have an Hour of Penance record without some absurdly fast drumming, and this guy knows exactly what he is doing. It is relentless. It is non-stop. Pretty much like your standard typical Hollywood action film. You're going to get an overabundance of explosions, gunfire, exploding buildings, fist fights. That's what it feels like when you're listening to this drum performance. And I want to say on the track Redeemer of Atrocity, that's probably my favorite song off of this entire record. Just the speed of that particular song is just insane. Fast blast beat after fast blast beat, great double bass, smooth fills, great tom blasts, great manipulation of the cymbals, just really, really good drum work all the way throughout, and this drummer definitely shows why he is so good at what he does. Very entertaining drum performance, a little over the top in certain instances, but yet it's an Hour of Penance record. You can let that slide in some cases. I think it's very, very entertaining. And moving on to the vocals, typical Hour of Penance vocal styles. I think the vocals are very, very good. Very rough, very throaty, very rugged, but very, very understandable. You can definitely understand everything that this guy is saying. Really, really unique kind of vocal stylings. Pretty much on par with what lyrical content is being brought forth to the table. Your lyrics are pretty much your standard fare when it comes to Hour of Penance. Very blasphemous, very controversial in certain instances. Nothing breaking new ground, but yeah, I think Hour of Penance really make it work very well for them, and I think it's very entertaining. And I should also mention that this particular album has some bonus tracks to it. The ones that really stand out to me the most would be the last two, if you happen to have the CD or digital version. Frail is the Flesh of Christ and Monarch of Heresy. Those are some two really, really awesome bonus tracks, and honestly, I thought those songs could have made the actual final cut of the record. I think those songs are that amazing, and probably would have made the album have a little bit more detail and substance to it. But for what is being offered here on Regicide, I think it's really, really solid. So overall, if you're into what Hour of Penance have put out in the past, if you happen to be into Nile or Hate Eternal or Decrepit Birth or Modern Day Behemoth, if you are familiar with Hour of Penance, if you haven't delved deep into this band's discography, feel free to give it a shot and give this new album a shot. It's pretty much on par with what Hour of Penance have been putting out recently. Very solid, hard workman-like death metal from a band that definitely knows how to make some solid releases. So if I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Reforging the Crowns, Desecrated Souls, Spears of Sacred Doom, Redeemer of Atrocity, and Theogony. So I'm going to leave you a link in the description box to the Hour of Penance Bandcamp page where you can stream this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. It is available in multiple formats. You can purchase the CD Digipack version. It is also available on 12-inch vinyl, cassette tape, and digital download through Bandcamp and various other reliable sources of digital downloading, if that's your sort of thing. So get it however you're able to. So again, the album is Regicide by Hour of Penance. This is released on Prosthetic Records. Definitely check this out. And as far as the score goes, I'm going to give this a very, very strong 8 out of 10. I think it's a much better album than Sedition, a little bit more of an improvement over it, better nuanced, better handled, solid record throughout. So support Hour of Penance. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Army Ho out.